All right, my friends, fifth quarter, where the Trailblazers stumble into the All-Star break, getting drubbed by the Wizards, 126 to 101. Just a bad night for the Trailblazers. Didn't defend well. They didn't shoot the ball well. Dame struggled to make threes, just 5 of 17. And multiple Wizards were able to step up and make things happen, including Kyle Kuzma, who scored a team-high 33 points. He was 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. And then you had Kristaps Porzingis. We saw it just a few days ago in Washington. His length was an issue, his shot making, 28 points and 12 rebounds. The Wizards lit up the Nets tonight, 57% shooting on their field goals and an impressive 17 of 33 from three-point range, and the rest is history. That is that. Portland now at 28 and 30. Enter the All-Star break. They'll get over a week off. Their next game will come up a week from Thursday in Sacramento against the Kings, and really a good time for the Blazers to get some rest, hopefully get healthy. And with 24 games to go, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the team approaches the final stretch of the regular season. Do they focus on trying to make a push for the postseason? That seems unlikely at this point. Or do they allow some of the youngsters to get more playing time, ensuring their position in the draft lottery? I mean, really, what would you like to see them do from this point? Telephone number is 503-248-0620, 503-248-0620. We saw more flashes of brilliance from Shaedon Sharpe tonight with his high-flying act and rim rocking. He got 28 minutes of action tonight, 14 points, 5 of 9 shooting. Good offensive night from Cam Reddish, who finished with 18. Anthony Simons, 17, but left the game with an ankle injury. No update on his status. He did not return. And the Blazers just struggling to find somebody outside of Dame to really step up and deliver. Dame, 14 of 30 from the field tonight, 5 of 17 from 3, and just 6 of 7 from the foul line. The Blazers tonight, you could see the frustration starting to boil over there in the fourth with the officiating. Now, this is why I warn you all about the officiating nightly in the NBA. Just expect the worst so you're not pulling your hair out come fourth quarter. It happens. So that's where we're at. You know, the Blazers, they still have issues. Undersized, not a good defensive team, one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they need more talent. And that's where they're at. We knew that with the post-deadline. It's going to be fun to watch Matisse Thybulle and see how he continues to play and how he adjusts to being on this team. I think for both Reddish and Thybulle, just more time in the system, more time around the teammates, getting some practice time in so they get a better understanding of where they need to be and what they need to do. I think that's going to be helpful. And then we'll see how things progress. Let's go out to the phones. I want to hear your voice. 503-248-0620. We start with my buddy Eastside Mark. What's up, Eastside Mark? Fire away.
Yeah, my friend. Well, you know me. I'm driving rideshare. You know, I generic for Lyft and Uber, but looking for a new girlfriend. And so just doing the same old. Listening to the Trailblazers, got a little problem. I kind of thought we were going to be 500 at the big 29 and 29 at the end of the evening. Instead, we got beat by 2 guys with Z's in their last name.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And that's a thing for me. I don't know why, but I don't like the Z's in the last name. And Kuzma and Porzingis just kind of killed us tonight.
Well, look at it this way. At least you didn't have to scramble around today trying to figure out whether to buy candy or a stuffed animal or a card for Valentine's Day because you're looking for a girlfriend.
That is the advantage of being single. And on a good note, I haven't been hit sideswiped by an armored car in well over a year now, so I'm doing pretty good.
That is good. That's one of the greatest stories of all time. Sideswiped, Mark was, while he was doing an Uber ride by an armored car, and what did he do? He tracks down the armored car who probably thought he was trying to rob them so he could say, hey, you swiped me. We got to swap insurances. Man, that's amazing. I still can't believe that story.
Yeah, I can't believe it happened to me. I got a little check out of it. And, you know, I'll live with the damage. I buffed it out. So
that's cool.
All right, well,
buddy, it's good to good to hear from you now. Now, I will tell you this. Now that we have the All-Star break coming up, let's connect and get together before next Thursday. We can have some coffee, get a chance to see each other.
So maybe next Friday then. Thursday. Yeah,
I would say next Wednesday. possibly Friday. Friday might work. So let's connect. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll give you a text on Thursday if I don't hear from you on the air.
All right, my buddy.
For
There you
that.
go.
All right, take care, Chad.
There's Eastside Mark. 503-248-0620. Kind of a dud tonight, Burkhart. After last night's blowout win over the Lakers, the Trailblazers reminded us of who they are right now.
What are you talking about? I took a nap.
Yeah. How do you think they're going to approach the Final 24?
Oh, my gosh. Your guess is as good as mine, man. I have been firm in the fact that this is a team that kind of controls where it lands, because if they put it together, they can play well enough to at least get into that play-in, and I would bet on Dame in the play-in just because I would. But they struggle against a team like the Wizards. They struggled in Washington, just came back and beat them. But this team, they're just not great, not consistent. And at this point, it might be worth it to, try to get the best pick possible. I don't know. I think either way, it has its positives and negatives. But I think if you were to tank, Chad, I would prefer you had done it earlier to really set yourself up well. Oh, yeah, we tanked. We got the 7th pick, just like you did last year. But not an enviable spot for management to be in, to be completely honest.
Dwight theorized today that they may just let him play.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. I just think it's hard to imagine this team making the postseason now based on roster, based on injury, based on all of the other competition in the Western Conference. And you let them play and see what they can do. And then from there, if you reach the lottery, then so be it. You go from there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. 503-248-0620. Final score tonight, Wizards over the Trailblazers, 126-101. I hope for the guys that didn't watch the game, you're having a very nice Valentine's Day, of course. 503-248-0620 on Twitter, at Chad and Rip City. And, of course, you can join our YouTube chat. The link is up right now. Go to youtube.com, plug in Rip City Radio, and you'll see the live link right there. You can join us and get a chance to see things from the inside out. That's Chris Burkhardt. I'm Chad doing. You got the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, 620, Rip City Radio.
for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab. Always sounds good for dinner.
Comes Lillard moving from left to right across the timeline, working on Abia. Goes between his legs, step back, fall away from 25. Good for Lillard. His second three-pointer in the game. That's tough to defend.
Oh, Dame is out there taking shots out the top of a phone booth.
All right, nice work once again by Rich Burke on the call tonight, filling in on radio for Travis, who was filling in for Kevin Calabro on TV. Blazers get hammered tonight, 126-101 by the Wizards. Kyle Kuzma had a team-high 33 points, 28 points, 12 rebounds for Kristaps Porzingis. They shot 57% from the field. They dished out 28 assists, and they made 17 of 33 from downtown. And that's a pretty good recipe for getting a win on the road. And the Blazers limp into the All-Star break. And, you know, I'm sure by this time of the year, 58 games in, guys are gassed. It's like, give me a break. Let me catch a breath. So, guys, we'll get a chance to rest. Next game will be a week from Thursday in Sacramento against the upstart Kings. Telephone number here on the fifth quarter is 503-248-0620. Chris Burkhart is here. I am Chad Doing, and we're looking forward to the All-Star break as well. Let's go out to the phones. Jane, who is driving home from the game, joins us right now. Jane, welcome to the fifth quarter. What was your takeaway tonight?
Hi. Well, like I said, I'm very sad that we lost, but I'm just very disappointed with the coaching, and I feel like our defense just could have been a lot better.
Yeah, the defense, Jane, was horrific tonight, as it has been most of the year. But when you talk about the coaching, what are you not seeing from Coach Billups that you would like to see?
Just the defense. I just saw that they got so many easy lay-ins today, and that was really disappointing for me.
Yeah, you know what's frustrating about that? Because when the hire was made, the idea behind Billups, Jane, was that a defensive guy who was known as a defensive stopper in the NBA was going to come in and get the guys to buy in and play a different brand of defense. But when I checked the defensive rating in the league, they entered the night tonight 27th in the league in defensive rating, which is right where they've been over the last 3 to 4 seasons. I haven't seen much of improvement at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's frustrating. How do you want the team to approach the final 24 games of the regular season? Do you want them to play and strive for making the playoffs? Would you like them to veer into the draft lottery and have a better chance at Victor Wembanyama? What kind of approach would you like to see?
I mean, I'd love to see them go into the playoffs. I think that'd be really great.
What's your take on the newcomers so far, Cam Reddish and Matisse Thybulle?
What? I think Reddish is good.
Yeah, okay. Well, Jane, I appreciate it. You got to enjoy your All-Star break now, and we'll get ready for a game a week from Thursday.
Yeah, can't wait. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, happy Valentine's Day, Jane. Appreciate it. Thank you. There's Jane driving home from the game. Didn't sound too excited about what she saw. The defense has been terrible. It doesn't matter who the coach is. They talk about defense. They emphasize defense. And then the guys go out there and take the court, and they just play bad defense. At least Chauncey's acknowledged that over the last couple of nights. It's like, yeah, we don't defend well. We don't get stops. We either hit shots and win, or we miss shots and lose. And that was the difference last night, right? They made 17 threes in the first half, which is a franchise record. 23 threes in the game. That's pretty good. Tonight, 12 of 42. 28% from the three-point range, 41% from the field. And I would say if there was one thing that I would say about this team that drives me crazy, they're just one-dimensional. They can't win in other ways outside of hitting shots. They just don't. They can't get stops. They can't find a way to manufacture points. They're not good in transition. They just don't do a lot of things well. And that's not hate. That's just the reality of who they are. Make shots, get hot from three, they win. If they don't, they lose. That's the formula, Burkhart. There's no secrets here. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the frustrating part because it's like, so you could close your eyes, someone have you not tell you who's coaching, whether it's Terry Stotts or Chauncey Billups, and you wouldn't know because it's the exact same story. It's a Groundhog's Day, right? Oh, a Blazer team that is underperforming defensively, that is living by the three-point shot, that lacks ball movement, that lacks size. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. So I don't know what has to give. I do think this All-Star break is great timing because of the trades. This is going to give Thibault more time to understand his role, understand the playbook, understand the concepts. Same with Cam Reddish. Going to give him some time. Interesting what Shaden Sharp will do now that he's not playing or participating in the dunk contest. Ant will likely not be in the three-point contest now either with that unfortunate ankle injury tonight. But we'll see how they come out of the All-Star break. We've seen it before, right? We've seen teams struggle until the break comes. It's just what they needed. They get out of the gates hot again because just a little bit of a rest and relaxations is what you needed. So we'll see where it goes. It's just unfortunate because it's the same story, different day with this team at times.
Well, I guess if you're going to tweak your ankle, the perfect time to do that is right before the All-Star break. Tweak the ankle, and Ant can have a week to rest and get himself right. I would imagine, don't you think we'll see Thibault in the starting lineup the rest of the way next to Grant?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much his spot. I think he solidified that. He wasn't, he was explosive, but he wasn't, air quotes, great today offensively like he was in his first game. But what he brings defensively and the way he moves athletically, it's definitely worth having him in that lineup.
503-248-0620. We'll come back on fifth quarter, and we'll take a listen to Chauncey Billups and see what he had to say in regards to the game tonight. Final score, 126-101, Wizards over the Trailblazers at Moda. Dame with 39, but just 5 of 17 from 3. The two guys that really hurt him. Kyle Kuzma, 33 points, team high, and 28 points, 12 rebounds from Kristaps Porzingis. Chauncey Billups coming up next here in the fifth quarter.
You are listening to the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing. Dial 503-248-0620 if you'd like to get on the air. The fifth quarter is presented by Coors Light, keeping Portland chill. It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Out to set the high ball screen. Lillard uses it and dish underneath the back door to Sharp, who jams it home. Little backdoor play to Shaden Sharp.
Shaden Sharp just tuning up.
All right, fifth quarter, Chad Dewing here. I think I convinced Travis Demers to just call in. I have these off-air conversations all the time. I'm like, dude, just call in and come on, let's talk some basketball. So Travis Demers is going to call in. You can jump on board if you'd like, 503-248-0620. Jennifer Delzer has chimed in on Twitter and says, hey, Chad, I can understand why the Blazers would play the young players and solidify their draft position. Tank, but it's hard to find the team in the same position they were last year. I want to see the team play the best they can. Well, Jennifer, I talked to Dwight about this today, and he thinks that, they'll let the season play out and let the chips fall where they may. And now what could change that, of course, and Cronin referenced this in his press conference a few days ago, that if the team were to go on a slide or lose multiple games to where it becomes quite clear that the playoffs are out of reach, then at that point, then you could look to play younger players. It's not going to be a full-on tank job like we saw last year. It's just not. The best way to approach this year with Wembanyama becoming available would have been to tank like San Antonio or some of these other squads have. So we'll see. 503-248-0620, the voice of your Portland Trailblazers, Travis Demers. Oh, he's going to call back in a second. Let's go out to Jesse. Hey, Jesse, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the fifth quarter. What's on your mind?
Yeah, tonight was just frustrating. I saw the Lakers, they were too undersized. I saw the Lakers game last night. Got confused. With the Blazers played much better last night against the Lakers. They were actually shooting, and they were guarding the rim and everything. But tonight, they were undersized. They couldn't guard Kuz and Porzingis, and they also couldn't shoot. And they took too many threes. And the refs, must have gotten their head. They couldn't find a way to play around the refs. And you got to find a way to move past the refs and don't let them make those bad calls and cause you to not be able to play your best game.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's no doubt the frustration was boiling over. I think that's going to happen from time to time where you have a team that's not playing well, not making shots, they're struggling, and then you've got to go out there and you feel like you got to deal with the officials as well. And that's a lot to deal with, right? It's frustrating. And we saw that with the Blazers tonight. They were dealing with a lot of frustration. I get it, man. You're coming up on the All-Star break. Guys are tired. Things aren't going your way. The officials stink. And there just comes a point where you're like, you know what? Screw this. And that's what they did. All right, I want to play this. And then, let's see here. What am I doing here? Why won't that come up? Will you do me a favor? All right, let's bring on Travis Demers, voice of your Portland Trailblazers, who was on TV tonight filling in for Kevin Calabro, Rich Burke on the radio side. What's up, Trav?
What's happening, man? How are you?
I'm well. How much are you looking forward to this All-Star break, brother?
Very, very, very much.
I know. How's the fam doing?
Everybody's good. The kids were excited about Valentine's Day. They were excited about getting their Valentines from their, Lincoln was excited about getting Valentines from his classmates and all that stuff. So it was fun. It's been a good time lately.
It's funny. I called Travis, just so you know, I called him a couple of days ago. He sends me a text, says, I'll call you back. I'm negotiating with the 2-year-old right now. How'd the negotiations go?
Exactly how you think they'd went. They had to fight him to go take his nap, and then he just stood up in his crib and was talking for the next 2 hours.
I wanted to ask you, Trav, what jumped out at you in the Cronin press conference? It could be anything, maybe a couple of things, but what jumped out at you as some of the things he had to say?
Well, one of the things that he talked about is something that I thought he was very smart, in that he didn't rush and overpay to make a move just to make a move to get slightly better. You know, the moves that they made, I think they did get better, and I love Thibault, and we'll see what you get out of Reddish, and you get a first-round pick. But you didn't give up anything that was in the long-term plans of this team, and you didn't give up anything that was going to risk any future flexibility. So while they didn't hit the home run that they wanted, they also didn't put themselves in a really bad position by overpaying.
Yeah, it's great. I like that. I like the fact that, you know, you and I had talked about this too, that if you're in a position as a franchise where, you know, you want to be aggressive and make moves, but at the same time, why would you want to sacrifice some of your great assets that you may have or you could use in the summertime when it's not going to, when the move may not put you in a position to really make a move through the West this year? Doesn't make sense.
Right. And like was it worth it to give up a first-round pick for Jared Vanderbilt? To me, absolutely not. Because Jared Vanderbilt, as nice as he would be, is not the difference between the Blazers contending for a championship and not contending for a championship. 2 second-round picks, something like that, okay. But a first-round pick is a big feature asset and just not worth it. And I'm glad that they didn't go make a move like that.
Yeah, I actually, you know, looking back on it now, I like the Josh Hart trade because that was a player they needed to move because they knew they were going to re-sign him. They didn't want to lose him for nothing. They were able to turn him into 2 players in Reddish and Thibault. It worked out pretty nice.
And a first-round pick, potentially.
Potentially. As long as the Knicks do what they're supposed to do and make the playoffs, Trav.
They better.
I want to play this one for you. This is the one that surprised me the most when Cronin was asked about, you know, the draft lottery or making a push for the playoffs. He did not answer it the way I thought he would. Take a listen.
I want to see these guys compete. You know, we're trying to build a culture here of, you know, playing hard and competing. And I think we're seeing this. We've seen this a lot this year where night in, night out, these guys are giving it their all. And I thought that was an important first step for us. You know, we have a lot of fine-tuning to do in this roster. You know, there's a lot of things I want to change as we refine and get into super-duper win-now mode. But I want that culture of competitiveness to continue through. Like, these guys go out and do your thing. And I think they're very capable, and I'm really interested to see what this new group has in store.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible that we see what happened last year if it gets to a certain point?
It's too soon to say. I think sometimes, you know, those things like guys get injured or whatever, or you just have a bad run and things change and you decide to play some young guys, or you look at certain rotations or whatever. But as currently constructed, the way things are going, I don't foresee that being, you know, paramount in our minds.
All right, Trav, there's Joe Cronin. I love the answer because I expected him to say, hey, we're going to make a push for the playoffs no matter what. But I love the fact that he said that because he's keeping his options open. And you know how a season plays out. Things change. And if they were to go through a losing skid to where, you know, the playoffs became extremely unlikely, then they keep their options open. I thought that was a very reasonable response.
Yeah, and one thing that I love about Joe is that he is, for the most part, very transparent and honest. And really, whether he said that or not, that's how you have to play it, right? Because if a couple of guys get hurt or you go through a losing streak where you lose 5 out of 6, and now you're 3 games out of the 10 seed or 4 games out of the 10 seed, it doesn't make sense to, you know, to really go all in when, you know, you could cost yourself some ping pong balls or a couple of lottery spots that could prove to be very important. So I thought that was really the perfect response in that situation.
You know, what I would really like to know is what do they value more, being in the lottery this year in a draft that's going to be rich in talent, including at the top with Wembanyama, or would they prefer to make the playoffs and have the Chicago pick convey so it opens up their future first for potential deals? I wish I knew what they coveted the most.
Yeah, that would be the one question. If I could give Joe Cronin truth serum and get the answer from him, that's the question I would ask. Because here's the thing, Chad, is that you're going into the off season, whenever that happens, with assets, right? You hope you have a first-round pick for the Knicks, and you're either going to have your lottery pick or you're going to open up whatever picks are going to be available in the future if that pick conveys to Chicago this year, right?
Yes.
So would you rather have 2 first-round picks, including one that could be top 10-ish, and then 18, 19, something like that, to be able to move with somebody, whoever that somebody might be, and make a big splash that way? Or are you better off with the next pick and 2 or 3 other future firsts with somebody and trying to make a big splash that way? Because the Suns aren't getting that deal done without a whole slew of assets for Kevin Durant, right? So if you need to go make a big splash, it's been proven in the market, whether it's Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, picks. So that's why I think, regardless of anything else, if you're trying to go make the big splash, if that is your goal, I think making the playoffs, conveying that pick to Chicago, and having as many future firsts as you can is the better play in terms of trying to go get that guy.
I agree if you're looking to make a big splash. Now, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. Let's say that they end up in the lottery this year. They can't trade the pick, right? They have to select a player on draft night, and then that would be agreed to in a trade. Is that how that works?
Yes, they would have to trade the rights to that player after they're drafted.
All right, so that would be a situation where you have a deal in place with a team, and you're selecting a player for that team in that potential deal.
Yes.
Okay. And then on top of that, they would also have the potential first-round pick from the Knicks they could use in a potential deal, correct?
Correct.
But no future first because that pick hasn't conveyed to Chicago yet.
Exactly.
Okay. So
here's the other interesting thing, though, when I look at this. So, number one, what does Anthony Simons' injury look like? To me, that is the most important thing right now. Because if this is something that's going to sideline him for 2 weeks, okay, well, then you miss him for a week of games. If it's something that sidelines him for a month or 6 weeks, you have 2 directions. Direction number one is fast track what we just talked about. Direction number 2, now that you have money after the GP2 trade, is find a replacement on the buyout market because you can do that at a very minimal cost.
okay, that makes sense. What do you think is the most likely option? Let's say Ant's going to be out for a month plus. Do you think the best case in that situation would be to fast track and play some of the youngsters and improve draft position?
Well, not necessarily, right? Because if Ant is not available, you have Dame, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, Matisse Thybulle, Cam Reddish, Justice Winslow, Shaden Sharp. It's a pretty decent rotation. And if all those guys play, that is not a let's lose games and make our draft position better type of lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting a lot of minutes to guys who need to play, which is good.
That's still a lineup that can get you to the play-in for sure, considering how tight everything is and what their schedule looks like. So even if it's worst-case scenario and Ant is out for the rest of the year, you can still get that team to the play-in. And who knows what happens there. And if that is the case, then I think, and I have no idea who's available, you, for a minimal cost, you go hit the buyout market and prorate somebody for the last 24 games of the season and get yourself another body.
Now, the other question I have for you is in regards to the Peyton deal, does that give Portland access to their mid-level during the summertime?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. I don't either. That's why I was asking.
I'll ask Joe Cronin about that. I don't know the answer. It would seem like they do because now you don't have that mid-level player on your roster, but I don't know the mechanics of that.
How are the Blazers going to treat or utilize, what are the advantages of having 2 guys in Thybulle and Reddish on situations where they're going to be restricted free agents?
Yeah, so there are 2 things. You can decide, we really want this guy back, and you just have to see what it's going to cost to bring him back. We're 2 games in with Thybulle, 3 games in with Reddish. and they have both shown you reasons why they could be valuable pieces to the team in the long run. The other part of that is you decide, yeah, this guy is not in our plans, and now you renounce their rights and you remove the cap hold. Or there's a sign and trade possibility, but I don't know what the likelihood of that is. But really, you have an opportunity now to evaluate a couple of role players that could be key role players in being big parts or role player parts to the big picture future.
You know, it is nice to have a guy like Thibault in town who's been an All-NBA defender twice, a guy who appears like he wants to be here, and I think he's going to be a lot better for that locker room than GP2.
By all accounts, Matisse Thibault is just a dude. Like, he is a guy that players are going to love. All reports out of Philly were that he was just a great guy. He's obviously a tremendous defensive player. I think he's a better player than GP2 is. He's not the same screen setter, but I think overall he's a guy that you are much better off with on your roster than GP2, and you have an opportunity now to see what he can do for the next 24 games and have him be a restricted free agent.
That's great. All right, the voice of your Portland Trailblazers, Travis Demers. Anything else? Is there anything we missed on that you want to get out, Trav?
No, I mean, really, it just comes down to, number one, how bad is this Ant injury? It didn't look good. But how bad is the injury, and what do you value more? And I think, the next week to 10 days are going to tell us a lot about that. I don't know what the buyout market looks like. I really have not looked at all. But you have until March 4th to make that determination if somebody is going to be on your playoff roster. So a lot of things that I would love to know the answer to that I don't know. But I think either way, you're in a pretty decent position in the offseason.
Well, brother, thanks for checking in on the fifth quarter, man. Enjoy your All-Star break, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, man. I appreciate you having me on, and enjoy your time. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. There's Travis Demers joining us here on fifth quarter, sharing his thoughts. 503-248-0620. All right, we'll come back. We're going to hear from Coach Billups, 503-248-0620. Blazers fall tonight, 126-101 to the Wizards. Next game will be a week from Thursday after the All-Star break against Sacramento on the road. Kings, that game will tip off at 7 o'clock. We'll hear from Coach Billups when we return here in the fifth quarter.
The fifth quarter poster play of the night is brought to you by Collection Connection, the leaders in framing sports memorabilia, team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
At the high post to Walker, kick it out to the left wing to Little. Now the extra pass to Sharp in the corner, takes the ball down the lane, tomahawk jam! What a throwdown by Shaden Sharp, consecutive nights.
Oh my goodness, Shaden Sharp putting people on posters.
I just got out of my chair.
Oh, it woke up the Motor Center crowd.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, let's check in with Coach Billups following the Blazers' 126-101 loss to the Wizards.
In general, was it just the Wizards shooting tonight? Like kind of a flip side from the game last night, in which you guys shot really well.
You know, it's crazy. I came into halftime and I was very happy with the shots that we got. You know, I said we can continue to get those type of shots. I feel okay. And I thought for the most part we did. You know, Kuz got hot in the first half, and then Porzingis, we had a tough time with him. You know, and then I knew his size would be an issue, and him being able to space the floor would be an issue. But with all that being said, I thought, 12 for 42 from three. It's tough to win a game like that, So that was, to me, that kind of summed it up, to be honest with you.
Chauncey, before things kind of got away there in the end, when you're looking at your defensive coverage and who you have available tonight, and you've got KP at 7'3" and Kuzma's hitting 30-footers, where do you decide to dig in on KP or to stretch the zone out to Kuz, or do you just tip your hat and go, they're making plays that are breaking what we're trying to do?
Yeah, they did a good job of getting those guys the ball where they want it, and they put us in a tough spot, A couple times we went on a double team and full rotated, They caught us, we full rotated, and they caught us on a slot, cut one time. And they just they kept us off balance a little bit with that, But we knew we was going to have to front, we was going to front Kuz, we was going to front Porzingis. We kind of fronting everybody on the block. And then when they throw it over, it gives us a chance to trap it, But sometimes the game just doesn't allow you to front, by way of where you run down and where they get it to them quickly. I thought those type of opportunities hurt us, to be honest with you. It kind of put us in it was just, we couldn't decide if we wanted to go or not out there. We was kind of, hesitant out there, and that throws everybody off. So it was kind of, there was a lot of layers to it tonight.
Chauncey, there's a few different points throughout the season that you probably pause and take a step back and look at kind of the season as a whole. And to me, going into the All-Star break is one of them. Just obviously your record is what it is, but kind of what's your big picture, just assessment of where you think the team is at right now, going into the break?
I think the biggest thing is, I'm just most concerned with trying to get healthy, man. It's tough to even gauge what we could be or where we can go, without being healthy, I thought, I really thought up to this point at least, Nurk's absence really hurt us, and we've been able to get a game here or there, outshoot people sometimes to get one or two, but it really hurt us, it really hurt us. And Drew is doing an incredible job, and T-Watt has filled in and has been incredible. So it's no knock on those two guys, but his absence really hurt us. And so it's tough to really even judge. And then, we got our new guys who, we got to try to play them to judge and see, how they fit in, especially when our big guy gets back. So it's tough to gauge it, to be honest with you. But, we are where we are, and it's kind of where we are. It's not like we've outplayed or underplayed our we are where we are.
All right, there you go. There's Coach Billups following the Blazers' 126-101 loss to the Wizards tonight. All-Star break is now. The players can go and get some time to themselves and regroup, reset, and get ready for the stretch run. 24 more games to go for the Blazers. And now we'll sit and wait and see how severe that ankle injury is to Anthony Simons. Let's go out to Victor in Turkey. Victor, what's up, buddy?
Hi, sir. Well, I have a really disappointment tonight and also argument with the callers or analysts. The thing is, they didn't mention, nobody mentioned that the way the Blazers lost, there was a reason for it. There are three major defensive players from Winslow, Jimmy Grant, and Yusuf Nurkic. These are three starter players. And also defensive players. Nobody mentioned that. You didn't mention that. Maybe you were busy other things. But even the other, the other analysts, they didn't mention that. That's the reason the Blazers lost, because of the defensive argument. Now, three players, Winslow is out of the game for almost 2 months, and nobody talked about him. Like he's out of the picture. He was very major when they traded him to Portland. He was very good. And it was a major topic. So in America, sometimes, people are too busy and they think about tomorrow or today or something like that. So the history, the past history is forgotten. Now, that's one argument. The other argument is the coaches, they don't pay attention, and also like Anthony Simon. Well, I'm sorry for him because I know the way he plays. But he got out of the popularity very quick. In America, as you know, one day you are very popular, next week, somebody else can come replace you. That's the way the custom is. It's not like the Middle East or Turkey or another country. So what I'm saying is, when Sharpe came to the board, all the media attention, analysts, Portland, here and there, they draw attention to Sharpe. Wow, well, look at that, look at this. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that, but what I'm saying is the role of the Anthony Simon was totally changed. If you look at the last year, Anthony Simon skills or expertise was in shooting the three-pointer. He was only shooting the three-pointer, and he wouldn't attack the rim, and he wouldn't go inside the rim. But the coach said, well, you have to do everything. You have to defend. You have to attack the rim. Even, your assistant, he said, yeah, they have to return. It's not like a soccer game. Okay, that's okay. But what I'm saying is the way they play Anthony Simon tonight, and he got injured, I blame it on the coaches because he's the very not on the undersized. He's the most least weight. He's like 180 pounds. So what I'm saying is the coaches, they were desperate. They were 20 points behind. They were desperate. Somebody buy him a basket. They didn't care who was going to do it, and they know the only player can do it is Anthony Simon. But when he goes to the basket against the big player, there is a high chance that he get injured. All these details. We have 5 assistant coaches that they get high paid to pay attention to the details. If you don't pay attention, I pay attention to the details. I went to the college, university. So what I'm saying is all these coaches pay to the attention. You put a small play going against Porzingis or Kuzma, he's going to get hurt. So what I'm saying, if you like Sharpe, he's a stronger player. He's an inside player. Give the ball, let him do the job. Now, you're going to risk to lose the Anthony Simon for the rest of the year. The analysts, you and the assistant that talked to the analyst, talked to last time, they said, well, if the Anthony Simon missed the rest of the game, well, so be it. We're going to go to the open market, buy another player. So what I'm saying is if analysts and people, they don't care about the player, like Anthony Simon. So why should I care about that? So what I'm saying is that's how the custom is. People, they don't care about the valuable player, and the way it is, and they just want to win games and this and that. The coaches made a mistake, put the Anthony Simon to buy him a bucket. They were 20 points behind. Anthony Simon couldn't bring him back, so why not use somebody else? Why make a chance, put him in the game, put him on the bench. He was on the bench most of the time. Put him on the bench. I'm sorry for him, man, because nobody cares about him. That's what I want to say, man. Nobody cares about him.
Well, Victor, I tell you what, I wish you were coach of the Trailblazers, and you are the man to defend Anthony Simon. I love it.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
You got it, Victor. You're the best. There's Victor. He's heading into the All-Star break with a heater, Burkhart. And he just nailed it. All the people talking about all these different nicknames, like Nick for Sharp. Victor did it without even recognizing it. Sharpie. There you go. And you spelled it properly. I didn't. Sharpie. Sharpie.
Sharpie. I still like Sharptimus Prime. So
I've got a soft spot in my heart for Transformers.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s when they first came out, and I remember my first Transformer I got. It was awesome. Big fan.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm hyped, actually. I have not been excited for a Transformers movie, but this one that's going to feature the Beasts got me excited because I had all those Beast Wars Transformers. Oh, man, it was awesome. Now, I got to be a downer here for a minute because
stunning.
I love – what are you talking about stunning? I usually try to bring the optimism, okay? I don't bring bad takes like our other producers. But I got to shoot down our guy Victor here for a second.
Okay.
Because everyone, Blazer fans included, okay? We got to stop. I'm going to put a stop to it right now. The stop sign, red light, I'll put some tire slashing, whatever the hell you call those things. I don't care. Just stop. We can't worry about Justice Winslow not being in the lineup, guys. You can't worry about Yusuf Nurkic not being in the lineup. Oh, what you're not talking about is Justice Winslow wasn't playing and Yusuf Nurkic. Those guys, Winslow has been out for like a month. Nurkic's been out for weeks. Good teams adjust. And even if they're taking their beatings, they find ways to adjust the way they're playing when their stars are out. You cannot hang your hat on that ad nauseum, right? You have to adjust.
And I think especially with Winslow, I like the guy, but he's really a non-factor on this team. Non-factor. He's okay, but he's not a significant piece of this team. He's very limited in what he can do. He can defend, facilitate a bit, cannot shoot.
He's a big body. He facilitates well. His defense is better than advertised, but still, it's not like world beating.
No.
It does. I mean, the fall that the Blazers have had did kind of coincide with when he went down a little bit. But he is a good piece off the bench. I mean, Watford's been really nice offensively, but Winslow's better on the defensive end. So which one do you want? But the whole point is, Chad, is your guys are, if you're talking about like Victor was, you have coaches who are paid big money to watch these things. Well, you also have players who are paid big money to go play basketball, right? And every player on every single team in every single sport, there's 3 words in their vocabulary that they all say: next man up.
Next
right?
man up.
So you can't worry about, but only if Justice Winslow were. No, you got to find ways to play. Oh, you can't put a small body on Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, Kristaps Porzingis is like 7'3". Everybody's a small body against him, okay? Like, you got to find ways to attack it and use the things that you do have to your advantage. Unfortunately for the Blazers right now, the only consistent has been Damian Lillard. Man, he's on an absolute tear. We talked about it. 721 points through the last 20 games, average of 36 points per game in that 20-game stretch, and he outdid that average again tonight. He's on an absolute tear, but you got to get everyone else to get that level of consistency as well.
What is going on with Winslow? We haven't gotten an update on him in forever.
No, not for a long time. I know the high ankle sprain's something that takes a little bit of time, but
yeah, unless your name is Patrick
Mahomes, unless you're taking some Toradol, I don't know. Like, haven't had an update. I would assume that he's ready to go post All-Star break here, as is Nurk. That here's the deal. I mean, if those two are ready to go, well, then if you come out the gates and you're slow and you're still losing your games the way you're losing them right now, what's your excuse? What's your excuse? You got to find ways to play, no matter who's on the floor. And they had a good game against the Lakers. This game was, you kind of called it in the pregame matchup because that's all, it's almost like you get paid to do this, but about how it's going to be a tough game, even though they played well last night, because just matchup-wise, for some reason, Washington matches up really, really well against them and takes them to task. And you kind of called what they needed to do, and the game played out how you expected. And when they had their big three, all shooting well, all playing well, Bradley Beal's having an incredible year. Kristaps Porzingis is having an incredibly underrated year.
He looks really good.
People have put him to bed because he had the injuries in New York and didn't do too great in Dallas. He's been wonderful for Washington. So you called it, but hey, win or lose, you're into the break now, which is the best thing for any team that is struggling. But when you get back healthy and you don't have any excuses, better start winning some games.
Swimmeroni just said, hey, I just got back from the game. Who was the Wizards player that crumbled in front of Lillard? That was Beal. Dame went up to contest the shot, and he brought his feet underneath the platform of Beal, and then Beal went down. So right away I'm like, well, that's a flagrant. But then on the replay, it sure looked like Beal should have won an Academy Award. But you just can't do that. You as a defender, you can't slide your feet forward and come down in that. You've got to give them clearance to be able to land.
Yeah, absolutely you do.
But he crumbled on purpose. I mean, that's what good players do. If a guy gets into your space, you miss a shot, you fall down.
Yeah.
Whistle, flagrant. All right, let's go out to the phones. Josh Baker is hanging out on Valentine's Day. Baker, welcome to the show, buddy. What's going on?
How's it going?
Good. Not a great game, but at least we get the All-Star break.
Yeah, not at all. Me and Megan went tonight, so.
To where?
I
The
know
Blazer
you like
game?
that. Yep.
Nice.
It was me and Megan and Monica's first Valentine's Day, too.
There you go.
Well, I've got to ask,
There you go.
how did it go with Valentine's Day?
It was awesome. We went out to dinner yesterday.
Yesterday, not today? Oh, because of the Blazer game today.
Well, yeah. Well, no,
We
yeah.
had childcare yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we had childcare. We have Jordan, everyone knows, is 1. Maverick is 4. And then Monica's daughter, Shania, is 5. Last night, Megan's mom offered to watch the kids, and then Shania's dad watched Shania, so we all had a night off. Me and Monica went to the game last night. Me and Megan tonight. Last Friday, it was Megan and Monica. We're trying to figure out the games where everyone can go and have these date nights, which having 3 people makes it to where you can do these date nights, and it's pretty awesome.
Where'd you guys go to dinner?
To the Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden.
Your home, when you're there, your family.
Is that their tagline?
We like that.
Is that their tagline?
Yeah, that's it. When you're here, your family.
When you hear your family. All right, so a little breadsticks and salad then.
Yes, and leftovers. It was amazing. I do want to say I love you, Chad. I love Travis.
Well, thank
I
you.
love all of Blazer Nation.
Well, thank you.
I know that, and we knew that coming out like this, we were going to get some hate. But through all of that, we still love you guys.
Well, we
and
love you.
I know that we know that it's unconventional, but at the end of the day, we're Blazer fans through and through. I mean, I've been now a 17-year season ticket holder. That's pretty crazy to say that. Started when I was 19. I'm 37 now. That's pretty wild. I've seen the Blazers through ups and downs, and I think I echo a lot of people saying that it's kind of the same thing this year as it's always been. We're hoping for the finals, and we're getting injuries and trades that we don't expect. It's not going the way we want it to go. We all want to see a championship. I want to see one before I'm 60. I just turned 37. I'm hopeful before I'm 60. Come on.
All right, I've got a question. My buddy Daniel wants to know why you don't have your shirt on during your TikTok videos.
Just to piss everyone off.
Yeah, what's up with that, Josh?
Here's the thing. You're not going to have a big video when you're just doing something everyone else does, right? I mean, you're really going to be talking this week though, because I lost a bet on the Super Bowl, and so I'm going to have to dress up as a Barbie, go into a Walmart, and sing "I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world" while shopping for a Barbie because I lost a bet to Monaco.
For who won the Super Bowl?
For who won the Super Bowl? I was pulling for the Eagles.
Well,
You're not, and the thing is we're, if you're going to try to become something, I think after 1 year on TikTok having 18,000 followers, that says something.
Well, it's true, but I would hope that you don't have to dress up like a Barbie and walk around Walmart singing the Barbie song, shopping for a Barbie to become something. Come on, Baker. Just keep your shirt on, bro. All right, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Happy Valentine's Day, Baker. Blazers take the loss tonight, 126-101. Shaden, the mystery Sharp. Nick, you're incredible. Nick has dropped at least 100 ideas for Sharp. Shaden, Soul Surfer Sharp. Shaden, the Gauntlet Sharp. And now Shaden, the Mystery Man Sharp. Oh, goodness. Rough game tonight. All right, let's go out to Kenny in Vancouver. Kenny, welcome to the show. What's cracking?
Hey, Chad. It was a bummer we lost, but I want to thank Rip City Radio. It was a fantastic seats. It was a lot of enjoyment. My daughter and I took a picture with Brooke. She's so wonderful, man. What an awesome, awesome woman. And it's just a whole meal deal other than that we didn't win was just fantastic. And I thank you guys.
Oh, great. So you jinxed them tonight, man. What's up with that, Kenny?
I'm sorry. I mean, and the thing that sucks is that whereas the Toronto game that I went to, it was like little Toronto here. It was like every Toronto person was there. It was literally felt like the first time I'd ever been in Moda where I was the enemy. But tonight it was a good Blazer crowd, and it just we couldn't hit shots. You can't hit shots, and we're too small in the middle. But hey, it is what it is. But I just want to see him play hard, develop some of the new guys, and I want to just enjoy watching Dame play because he's worth the price of admission alone. And I just want to see what happens this summer. But I still love our guys, and it was sure fun being there.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, enjoy the All-Star break, and I'll talk with you soon, bro.
That sounds good. And, hey, to Victor, I felt really bad for him, man, with that. And I hope it's not as bad as it looks. They did not give us the replay, which told me it must have been really bad.
Yeah, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. So we're going to keep an eye on that injury. And Burkhart, before we're done here, if that injury's bad, how do you think that might impact the way the Trailblazers treat the rest of the year?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. I think if that injury is bad, then yeah, it might be time to figure out what you need to do. Do you pack it in from there? Kind of like you were talking with Chad. I think that, or with Travis, I think that's exactly where the Blazers are. Like, go out there and play. And then if something happens and we have to pull the plug, we'll pull it. But just go out there and play first. But when you lose one of your best players, that's a tough one.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us. You got any final words of wisdom? Wait a second. I'm not going to see you for like over a week? Will I see you before then?
No, because
I'm used to seeing you all the time. So now it's like I'm going to be separated from you for over a week. That's weird.
Oh, you're going to miss me.
Dude, we see each other more than we see our families right now.
Oh, my gosh. You have no idea. Because I know I talk about it a lot, but man, when I was traveling with the team and you're on the road for a week and a half, it's like, dude, the amount of times like I saw Dwight, like got tired of the old man.
I know.
Literally, if I counted the day hours, I probably spent more time with him than my wife during basketball season.
All right, look at this. I have a Valentine. I didn't know it until I showed up at work today. My man Chris Burkhart supplied me with a bag of delicious jerky from the Original Steer, his family's meat shop. Dude, this is a great batch you delivered me today.
Good, good. I'm glad it's a good one.
It's the best. Thank you.
Try to get that on there. That get on the screen. No, I can't. Oh, there you go. There you see the meat case. Told you I'd get it on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, nice work.
There you go.
The original steer. That's right. You weren't lying. What is that? So it's tenderloin, right? Heart-shaped tenderloin and lobster tails.
Yeah, they're in there. They're in there. They take care of you there at the original steer.
There it is. Yep. Nice work, brother. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to all of you who were listening on 620 and for joining us on the YouTube chat. Don't forget, it's All-Star break, so our next game will come up 1 week from Thursday. In Sacramento against the Kings, we'll have game day at 4:30 on that Thursday with tip-off at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, Justin Myers has got Rip City Mornings at 6. Dwight and I will be on for the Rip City Drive at 3. Your final score tonight from Moda Center, the Washington Wizards 126. Your Portland Trailblazers 101. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends, and happy Valentine's Day.
Jeremy Grant hits the thruple.